Welcome to TensorFlow Object Detection Custom CAPTCHA Solver tutorial, second part. So, in my previous tutorial, I mentioned that in second tutorial, in this tutorial, we'll be collecting training data and train our model. So, in this tutorial, I will do step-by-step TensorFlow object detection model training, which will be used to crack CAPTCHA images. At first, we'll try to detect not full CAPTCHAs at a time, but we'll try to find out how many symbols we have in our image, and then try to recognize these symbols. We will begin with our dataset. You can repeat my steps if you are doing something similar, or anyway, I'll post my files on my webpage. At first, I will mention that I will use the same detection method I used in my previous Counter-Strike Go aimbot tutorial series, where I tried to detect enemies and shoot them automatically. So if this tutorial is not as detailed as you need to understand it, there will be a link in my video description for my detailed step-by-step object detection tutorial with custom data. And in this CAPTCHA tutorial, I assume that you already have TensorFlow object detection installed. If no, install it by also I'll post the link to my description. So okay, let's move on this tutorial. At first, as you know, you'll need to get training data, so you should gather a few hundreds of CAPTCHA images you want to crack. With all the images gathered, there will be a time to label them. So there is one program called label img. I can show you how to use it, but anyway, it doesn't matter because it's quite simple to use. And we'll open the here I have all the images here, so already labeled them, but I can show you shortly how it works. Select folder. As you can see, there is a lot of CAPTCHAs, and I simply open one by one, and as you can see, there is B, Z, X, Z, S, and there is a great rectangle box button. We click it, and I'll not save it right now, but for example, there is an X, so I'll mark it as X, and that's it. And for faster marking, I press Ctrl S to save it. And if I would like to use a rectangle, I press W on my keyboard, and it's faster way to mark something. So anyway, I'll delete this label, and I'm not labeling it right now because I already did that. And of course, I'll upload this files so you could download it and so on. And anyway, these my CAPTCHAs can solve all CAPTCHAs which are on the internet, but at least it can solve simple CAPTCHAs which has symbols which can be difficult to see or something, as you can see. And if you would like to solve some different CAPTCHAs with it, you should label your CAPTCHAs. I labeled around few hundreds, I'm not sure, but it took for 100 it took for me 1 hour, but it might take more or less, it depends on your CAPTCHAs. And if you have labeled some different CAPTCHAs, please share your dataset. Maybe I'll upload it to my webpage so others could download it, so we could increase our CAPTCHA images dataset. So okay, continue with my tutorial, and already made on all the files here, but I'm not created. So I copied this from my previous step-by-step Counter-Strike Go tutorial, all files, but I changed them a little bit. So it's very similar, similar, and it's good to me to use this system for training, and I'll show you how to do this. So okay, once you have labeled and saved each image, there will be an XML files here with each of images. So we need to use this Python script, but I wrote an batch file which we'll use for that. So anyway, there is a line where you should change if you're using another system, and I have the same image, and I use their train and test two folders, test train, and there is about around in train is around 8% of my CAPTCHAs, and here is about 20% of my CAPTCHAs, and as you can see, I can call it by this function, but I created a batch file here. We can edit it, open it. Yeah, as you can see, that's quite simple, and let's run it. Let's see what it will create. Yeah, it finished, and if you go to images folder, you'll see that there is two new files, train and test labels CSV files. Okay, we'll close it. Now, next step, what you should do is to use generate TF records. So we open it also, and here what I did is I wrote here full alphabet and 10 numbers from 0 to 9, and at all as a final result is 36 symbols, which I can detect. There might be also more of them. For example, there will be lowercase letters A, B, but for now I didn't do this, and yeah, we need to generate TF records here. So I also created an generate TF records batch file, and here what we use is we can call them from command prompt window, or we can simply start this batch and it will do everything for us. But what you need to do before that to make these lines are correct for you, because here are CAPTCHA images, test and train directories, and I use test and label CSV files for these records. So I'll store this. It will do this in a moment. Let's wait for a short time. So it finished. So this the script generated our train and test record files in training folder. This will be used to train a new object detection classifier. And the last thing to do before training is to create a label map and edit the training configuration file. The label map tells what each object is by defining a mapping of class names, class ID numbers. Use a text editor to create a new file and save it as label map pb.txt in the training folder. I have it here, and make sure the file type is pb.txt. In the text editor, copy or type the label map in the same format as it was in the as before. So I will open it. Okay, I'll open it in my Notepad++ folder, file editor here, and as you can see, it's very similar. Very similar. I use all the same 36 names and IDs here, so they must be defined the same way as it was in generate tfrecords.py file. So don't forget that. And what's left, the last is Configurate training. And finally, I think that the object detection training pipeline left to configure, and it defines which model and what parameters will be used for training. This is the last step before running actual training. So I think this is our file. So navigate to your TensorFlow research object detection folder. I have it here, and we go, for example, in samples and configs, and you can find this model here, and you should copy this config file or just download it from my link, of course, which is way easier for you, and copy this file into a CAPTCHA training folder. As you can see, I already have it here. But yeah, of course, I should mention that you can use another model. Well, at least I chose to use this model because I already used it before. But if you would choose a different model, you should choose not according to speed of detection, but according to accuracy. So there is a COCO map, something like that, parameter. So it shows how accurate is our model, how good it predicts our things, and so on. So yeah, choose wisely according to that. But well, I do this tutorial on what I did before. It's good to me. So open the file with text editor, and what we'll do is, okay, here is parameters we need to change. As you can see, here is number of classes. I wrote 37, but we have 36, but it doesn't matter. It should be not less than 36. So I'll leave it as it is. Then I scroll it down, and yeah, so there is a model needed to have in our folder. So maybe I'll upload the link to download it, or yeah, or I'll add it simply to my folder, so I won't forget to upload it to download. It will be easier for you and for me. And write that fine-tune checkpoint is as it is accordingly. So number of steps, it doesn't matter. So we go here and we change input path and label map path, and input here is also input path and label map path. So we write as we have here. So CAPTCHA training label map here, as you can see, and go back, label map and record. So records we have here. So keep in mind to write it correct and don't make any mistakes, because it's quite hard to find mistakes later when you're trying to train your model. So save all your files after the changes have been made. Then that's it. The files are prepared and configured for training. So what's next is we need to copy these files. So here is my object detection folder. As you can see, I have Counter-Strike-Go trainings before I did in my previous tutorials, but it doesn't matter for you. So what I do is I simply copy these. Keep in mind that if you're doing this first time, you might not have this file here. So because newest TensorFlow versions use different file, not this, and I a little bit changed. I don't remember, but I think I tried to change this. I'll check this out in a moment. So yeah, I wrote that it would see only one GPU for trainings. Okay, so it doesn't matter for you, but if you don't have this file, I'm uploading this also with all the files are here. And what's next? Okay, we can just copy these files and well, I should mention where you can find this. I think there is a legacy folder, and here it is, train.py, and in the newest versions I think it uses model main.py, so it's used with newer version of models, but we are using this one. So how to start your training? Okay, we'll replace all the files here, and I use cmd command prompt as administrator, and I go to its directory, and now we need to write the training. So I'll upload this to my page, to my tutorial, doesn't matter, but you don't need to remember that, but I will try. So I use .py file, log to there, and train directory equals to CAPTCHA training, like that, and pipeline configure path equal to CAPTCHA training. And it would be easier for me to just copy this, and I forgot the symbol here. So yeah, I think everything should be fine here. Yeah, then I'll just press training. And let's see what it shows to me. It should initialize the training in 17 seconds. It shouldn't take long. If I wrote it correctly, I can of course check one more time before it initializes. Yeah, I think it will be fine. So as you can see, it started to training, and what now we can do is we can open the tensor board to check our progression of training. So I also need this, run as administrator, and what I do here is I open cd the object detection directory and write tensor board log directory equals to CAPTCHA training directory. Okay, let's see what it gives to us. It should start also in a moment, but you should track all the training routine in this tensor board and to check when the detection rate is not increasing anymore. So it might take a lot of steps, from 30 to 16,000, and if you have a fast GPU, it doesn't matter, it might take only a few hours, but if you're doing this on CPU, it might take a long time. So as you can see, our tensor board started, and we can check it. Local host, it was 6006. Something wrong here. How I started the training, because we're missing one file here. And it's not good to us. Okay, I'll pause the video for a short moment and I'll check this out. So I restarted the training and from zero again, and I'm not sure what I wrote wrong, but now as you can see the folder is here, but I think I was started training to training folder here, so I might delete these files because I don't need them anymore. Like that, and everything is here in all our training data is here, so our graph should appear here in our tensor board. So let's give a few steps more to train, to check what we have here in as our results. And I'll leave it for a few moments for you guys. I'll make it faster to run and we'll see. As you can see, our loss graph is dropping, so you should do as many training steps as possible, because the graph should look like, I don't know, something like this, if you can see my mouse moving. So you need about from 30 to to 60,000 of training steps, and when you see that your loss graph is not dropping anymore, so it has a smoothed or something like that, you can assume that your training is finished. Anyway, I think that when I finish the training, I'll show you how my graph looks like from my loss. And what I should mention that training routine periodically saves the checkpoints about every 10 minutes, and you can terminate the training anytime. But for example, it not saved the first one, but it should save in 1 minute because it saves it every 10 minutes, so we can wait for it. For example, I usually wait until checkpoint has been saved to terminate the training, so then you can terminate training and start it later, and it will restart from the last saved checkpoint. So I think that this will be all for this tutorial. We'll see you in another part where I will show you how to generate the frozen inference graph from your training data, and we'll test how our model works in predicting the CAPTCHAs. So I'll wait for 1 more minute, because I think that it should save our model, newest version here, so you could see it, guys. So here it is, 2000 steps in 10 minutes. So that's moving quite slowly. I don't know why, because for me last time it trained much faster, but it might be because of I'm recording a video. So you need from 30 to 60,000 here. As you can see, it's moving down. So I'm stopping the video here, and in next video we'll export inference graph and we'll see how our model predicts the CAPTCHAs. And yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in comment section below this video. If you liked my video, you know what to do. Smash up the likes button and subscribe my channel. So the text version of this tutorial and links will be left in the video description. Thank you all for watching. Good luck and see you in next video.